Excuse me. What in the world are you thinking?
Mean Gene, the first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say.
It's cold. What up, y'all? It's KMB, the Sexy Ninja, in the place to be for a Paper Saber universe, and this is the New World Podcast, brother. Oh, man. I want to get something out of the way real quick. I love doing these podcasts. Don't get me wrong. I love talking pro wrestling. I love dropping these reviews and stuff like that, but I still want to do it. Like, I still want to do a professional wrestling podcast, and I think I've been doing a pretty damn good job of doing that. In this episode, where we're going to talk about NXT, December 12th, 2023. This is episode, season 4, I believe, episode 402. 402 episodes I have been doing of the New World Podcast. You know, that's crazy, man. And I know there's other podcasters out there that keeps the grind and keeps doing it every single day. And I've been wrestling with this in my head, pun intended. There's other stuff I want to do as well, but I also don't want to lose the guidance of the NWP podcast. I love this podcast. This podcast has got me through a lot. This podcast has been there through the ups and downs, all the way up to loss this year and everything like that. But I think to enhance the show for y'all, to bring the show to another level. Also, I want to be on, I want to be more live. I want to be more in tune with the audience and stuff like that. We talk professional wrestling. So I'm still working out the kinks of how I want to do this, but I'm looking at the starting in January, starting in 2024, the NWP goes down to one podcast a week. The working title right now is the NWP Super Show. And it'll be the same format of how I do every episode of each podcast. And it will drop either every Sunday or every Monday. I'm looking at my dates and stuff like that, looking at my schedule. But, that's what I'm thinking. As of now, it's not set in stone, but I wanted to get y'all's opinion on it. One mega show, the Super Show, brother. I've been thinking about this, and the NWP Super Show once a week, talking all week of professional wrestling, what's going on and stuff like that, and then really break it down in a nitty-gritty, more of a bigger content of a podcast and stuff like that. But I'm still working out the kinks. I'm not guaranteing that's going to happen, because there's other podcasts I want to do. I want to do more Sexy Ninja Casts. I want to do some reviews on stuff. I want to do breakdowns of stuff and watch all that. And there's also short films that I have ideas of to do. I have some short films in my brain that I really want to accomplish for 2024. And I love wrestling though. So this has been a constant ongoing thing in my brain. And the Super Show just sounds awesome. Just once a week, just that 2 hours or hour and a half or whatever of just breaking down what happened from Monday Night Raw all the way to Collision, talking about each show, and rate each show differently and how they compare to each other and stuff like that. So that's just it's a thought as of now, because I also have some other passions that I want to do in the sense of music reviews. I want to get back to that. I want to get back to watching more movie reviews and stuff like that, and just getting crazy on the channel again, because everyone's always like, it's just wrestling. I was like, but wrestling's so much fun. But also too, I get people who are fans of KMB, the Sexy Ninja, who don't even watch wrestling whatsoever. And they're always like, hey, man, you can do those reviews again. Those music reviews, those were fun. And they were fun. They pushed the envelope of me being creative. So, and I'm not going to say the NWP hasn't pushed me in being creative. I think the New World Podcast has made me a better podcaster. That is 100% true. I think throughout the years, learning how to even make a format of a show, I finally got an idea, because if you listen to like the Social Vent podcast and some other podcasts, there's really no format. And, you know, I was always against the format for a podcast itself. I was always like, fuck it. Why don't you just be loosey-goosey and all that, you know? So but I love this podcast. I know a lot of other people that really love this podcast. So I want to talk to y'all first. You know, I'm cutting a promo in the ring and saying how would you feel, NWP audience, if the show went down to once a week and it was the NWP Super Show? Drop those comments below. All right, let's get into NXT, December 12th, 2023. Vic Joseph, Booker T on commentary. We got Mello and Trick arriving, you know. Lots going on tonight, man. The name of this show for NXT was like, who? We started off with Cora Jade in the ring. She cuts a promo. She's been gone for 4 months. I didn't realize that, and I love Cora Jade. Remember when she got that big old welt on her eye? I think that's one of the thumbnails for the show before she left and everything like that. And but yeah, Cora Jade's back. I'm excited. I want to see what happens with Cora Jade. I really do like her, and her being gone has been the women's division is in NXT is phenomenal. Like, they have some serious heavy duty caliber of talents down there. Then Lyra comes out, you know, she gets in Cora Jade's face. Here comes Blair Davenport, you know, about to gang up on Lyra. But Nikita Lyons is back, and she comes back out. She wants Blair Davenport, and it gets into a fight. Big old fight. This sets up our match for later on in the show. Mello is backstage, and he got attacked by who? Who indeed attacked Mello? Or did he get attacked at all? Question mark. That's what I'm thinking. Metaphor versus Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen, Fallon Henley. This all started from this past Saturday at Deadline backstage when they got into it. Fun match. Josh Brooks, Fallon Henley for the win. But Fallon Henley with Tiffy, my girl Tiffy came out. She was watching the show. She was watching the match, and she comes out, and her and Fallon get into it. But Josh and Brooks and Fallon, they got the win over Metaphor. And I will say this, the WWE, I was thinking about this, because Metaphor's entrance is so gangster. With them, all four of them standing there and the colors going off and that, WWE can do entrances like no other, you know. And they're big, they're loud, they're definitely showcasing the superstars and stuff like that. And Metaphor's entrance is gangster. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say, man. Trick Mello backstage, you know, Mello's getting checked on the doctor, and Trick's like, "Oh, what happened?" And Mello's like, "I know who did this. I felt this before. I know who attacked me." He's like, Trick's like, "Who? Who?" He's like, I'll tell you later when I handle business. He's like, okay. Dragon's backstage. He has an interview, and he's talking about doing an open challenge tonight. Who will answer the call? Who? See what I mean? A lot of who. Men's breakout. Oh wait, no. Okay, right, yeah, no, this is about the right thing. I'm sorry, I got my brain twisted for a bit. The men's breakout tournament. They're showing everybody and whatnot. Miles Bourne, Oba, Femi, I hope I said that right, and Riley Osborne, Keanu Carver. I gotta say, man, we gotta work on these names. Just like for other women's breakout, we got some names here that just really need, like Bear Hill, you know, the native guy who got attacked by Alexis. I even wrote here, Alexis attacks the native. And guess what? The native got screwed over. He got kicked out of the tournament because Lexus King is now part of the tournament. But I was like, as much as I'm a proud Native American, I am Navajo, 100% Diné and everything like that. It's one of those things where every time they have a Native American character, and they do the character, he's got the beads, he's got the name Bear, like Bear Hill, and it's one of, they got the war paint and everything like that. They come out dancing and like they're in a powwow and stuff like that. I'm just like, can we do something different You know, can we try something different? Like, I want to know, I want to see, let the person shine. Because I'm Native American. I did some pro wrestling for a bit, and I really wanted to, like, I let people know that I am Navajo, but I'm also this badass superhero that was named Parallax, and I'm from the planet Oa, you know, and stuff like that, you know, from the ruins of Oa, you know, I'm the Lion of Oa, and that's who I was. And I didn't let any really no Native American shtick, like get me. And I remember, like, when we first started talking about Native American wrestlers, you know, there's always the headdress and shit like that. And it's just funny to me because I remember, like, someone was like, yeah, why don't you play up the Native American role, you know? And I was like, I have this stable idea, but no, everyone was like, no, don't do it. It's so bad. And like it's you know, borderline, like, racist and stuff like that. And I was like, no. I go, if I had a faction, and I created a faction, WWE can take this if they want, you know, but I don't think they'll do it. Is that you get your Native American key players of a group. They get together, they form this faction called the Savages. Like, hey, you want to look at us this way? You want to package us in this way? Fine. We'll be what history tries to forget that we were. We're the Savages of this company. We're taking over, everything like that. Full-blown hardcore Native American group, all showcasing, you know, where they're from. You know, they got leather jackets or something like that, but, like, making them badass, you know. You're like, you want to think of us like this? We'll be the Savages then that you think we are, you know. And a lot of people are just like, no, we're against it. I was like, oh, it just sounds so badass. A full-blown Native American faction, you know, that's gonna beat some ass, you know. And I love that line. You want to look at us like savages? Fine, we'll be the Savages. So everyone I told that to, you know, as a Native American, I was like, is that badass, right? They're like, I don't know, Kyle, but, you know, that's just me. That's my 2 cents. Men's breakout tournament, first one, Miles Bourne versus Oba Femi. I hope I said that right. I will say this, Oba gets the win, but it's always a power bomb with the bigger guys. Always a power bomb with the big guys. Like, you know, it's not just WWE. It's all across the board in AEW and Ring of Honor. Like, it's always a big dude. They always have to do the power bomb of sorts, you know, Wardlow and whatnot. I think Powerhouse Hobbs does it. This guy does it. Another person I know does it in WWE and NXT. Like, that's always the power bomb. It's always the devastating move. It makes me laugh. Lyra and Lions are backstage, and Tatum. I don't understand this whole Tatum Paxley thing. Like, I'm trying to understand it. Like, she's pulling this Nikki Cross weird shit. Like, I don't understand what's going on with this whole Tatum Paxley and Lyra, I like the relationship between them two, because she does come out later on during the match. But we'll talk about that in that. Tiffany's backstage, and I swear, I am going to buy her shirt. It says, "I'm hot, Tiffany Stratton," and on the back of it in cursive says, "Toodles." I was like, I need that shirt. It is hot pink. I was like, oh, imagine K&B Sexy Ninja in a hot pink Tiffany Stratton shirt. I do. You know, I really want that shirt. But the problem is, I like black shirts because, if they get all wrinkly, you really can't tell. With full-blown, full-color shirts, they get a little wrinkly. You can see it and whatnot. They have more wear and tear. But I really want this shirt. And I love Tiffany Stratton. I love this interview. She's like, she's going on. She talks about herself. And she goes, okay, now you can talk to the interviewer. And she's like, okay. And then she just walks off. I'm like, damn. North American Championship, Dragon Lee comes out. And it's like, who's going to answer the challenge? It is Tyler Bate. Great match, man. Oh, I was glued to the TV on this, man. I was like, oh, I even watched the picture-in-picture because I didn't want to miss anything. I was just like, I need to see this match. Like, I like Dragon Lee, and I really love Tyler Bate. So give me more of this. Dragon Lee for the win, retains his championship, but Tyler Bate needs some more in his life. This is all I'm saying. Fallon, Josh Brooks, backstage, they're like, yeah, we won and everything like that. Beat Metaphor. And he's like, hey, man, I should go after that Heritage Cup. And they're like, nah, man, that's not your style. He's like, but, the Iron Survivor match wasn't my style, but I did it, and he looked great. So, now we're going to get a Heritage Cup here soon, maybe at New Year's Eve. That's January 2nd. So the big show going up, we got Lyra, that's going to be facing Blair Davenport. Then we have Trick Williams versus Ilya Dragunov. Hell yeah. To start off the new year, why not? Why not? Lexis King's backstage with Ava. When did Ava gain the powers of making matches? Am I missing something? Did I miss something in NXT programming to where Ava has powers to make matches? Because now Lexis King took over Bear Hills, took the native spot. I'm just saying that because I'm a little salty about that. But he took Bear Hills' spot in the tournament, and he's going to be in the breakout tournament. So Lexis King is the favorite right now in my mind that's going to win this thing. But yeah, when did Ava, just tell me, audience, when the fuck did I miss this? That Ava can make matches? Because she did this last week too. So with the steel cage match. Next up, Dijak versus Eddie Thorpe. Ended in DQ. These two do not like each other. Because Eddie Thorpe came out in the match for the Iron Survivor on Saturday. Dijak, though, he got a cut on his on the side of his head. And then the ring buckle broke and everything like that. And everyone's like, oh, shit. You know, I've never seen that before. Like, well, I probably have at indie shows and stuff like that. But, like, all of a sudden, like, Eddie Thorpe gets thrown into the buckle and the buckle just breaks off. Then, good on Dijak using that buckle to beat Eddie Thorpe's ass with it, you know, hitting the ribs, causing the damage. I really like that a lot, and I looked at Dijak's head, I'm like, oh, man, you know, and then, of course, in WWE, they really don't, like, show the gash or anything like that because, you know, it's still family-friendly programming, you know, which is understandable. It's fine. Chase U, this shit was great. I'm not gonna lie. I like the whole car wash, you know, like, how much did we make from the bake sale? $6, boss. All right. Car wash, $300. Okay. Then Duke is all, that is percent of a percent of a percent of the interest. It's like, Chase is like, hey. And he's like, and by the way, Duke goes, you look like shit. Oh, man. But Thea and JC, they're like, oh, Riley's going to be up next because Riley Osborne, who's part of the men's breakout tournament, is part of Chase U. Mr. Chase says, okay, fine, you two can go. You can go watch his match. And so they go off and they sit in the Chase U section. But Reginald walks in and brings a silver suitcase to Mr. Chase and puts it down and says, I have an offer for you. Then walks out and Duke's like, what's going on? What's going on indeed? Cora Jade and Blair Davenport's backstage. You know, there's a little tension. There's a little tension between them two, but they're on the same page of what they want, you know. And I like when Blair keeps saying, yeah, at New Year's Eve, well, I'm going to be the new champion. Then if you're going after Lyra, blah, 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 they're not going to be facing her. It's going to be. And then I like when Cora's just like, okay, I get it. And Blair walks away. Men's breakout tournament. This another round. Riley Osborne versus Kiana Carver. I don't know. In this match, we had Kiana Carver being a beast, doing a great drive-by spot where he, boom, knocked Riley's ass out. But when Riley won, I was like, really? I don't believe it. Like, okay, you know. But Riley won, so he moves on in the tournament. Dragon Lee's backstage, you know. And Drew, Charlie, Miles Bourne, and Kemp, they interrupt. Well, he's walking back there. They get in each other's faces, and it basically sets up a match where Dragon Lee will put up that North American Championship again against either Drew, Charlie, Miles, or Kemp. Who? It's the theme tonight, folks. Thea's backstage, and she's with JC. They're like... JC's like, go talk to him. Go talk to Riley. Oh, and it's so awkward. And JC's face the entire time while Thea is blowing it. She's like, oh, you smell. But no, you smell good. Like, oh, no, like saying all the wrong things. And JC comes up. She's like, yeah, that was great, I guess. You know, like holding like, ugh. But here comes Kiana and Izzy. And they're like, that's a whole lot of man. And you're just a little girl. And it sets up JC and Thea versus Kiana and Izzy next week. But JC's fan, I love JC and Thea's relationship now. I you know, like she's turned her into a little bit of the bad girl a little bit, but she's still like innocent in some certain way, and Jacy's just trying, but she's being the big sister of the two. She's still immature, but she's trying. I really love that relationship. Lyra Valkyria, Nikita Lyons versus Cora Jade and Blair Davenport. Crazy match, fun match. Cora Jade and Blair get the win, but Tatum Paxley's in the crowd again. Like I said, I'm not understanding this. She's out there, creeps Lyra out. Then after the Cora Jade and Blair wins, Tatum throws Nikita out, and then Tatum's like crawling up on Lyra, and I was just like, I don't know what's going on here. Everyone's like, it's creepy. I'm like, I know it's creepy, and it's also, why? The big fucking, like, why? We'll get more on that. We'll see how that plays out all the way up to New Year's Evil. So, Hank and Tank's backstage, they confronted Gallus, and this was a fun interaction, because next week we're going to get Hank and Tank versus Gallus. And after they say their spiel, and Hank and Tank walk off, Joe Gacy's is like, hey guys, he's crazy. He just shows up wherever he wants. He shows up under the ring. He shows up behind Vic Joseph and scaring him and throwing his candy all over the place. But he goes, hi, and he goes to the other Joe, and he's like, Joe Coffey. He's like, hey Joe, and he's holding a cup of Joe, which was crazy. He goes, you know what, Joe? You know what's great, Joe? Is meeting another Joe and drinking a cup of coffee of a Joe and Joe. Yeah. He's like, yeah. He's like, you guys are so, what, I don't know, but Joe, whatever Joe Gacy's going through, I hope we see what happens. Now to end the show is more who and whys. Trick Williams comes out. He's Trick James, bitch. That's what he said to us, and I really like that. Trick Williams whooped that Trick. He deserves where he's at. He deserves to be the Iron Survivor. And here comes Ilya Dragunov, and Ilya Dragunov, they're both going back and forth about respect and everything like that. But then, and the party pooper, Carmelo Hayes, comes out to make things even worse. He's doing that limp. He's doing everything. He's like, oh my God. I know who attacked me, Trick. I know who did. It's Ilya Dragunov. He has every advantage to split us apart. And Ilya's like, what the fuck? I didn't do anything. And then Ilya puts it in Trick's head like, hey, maybe Carmelo didn't get attacked. Huh? Maybe he's making this all up. And Carmelo's like, whoa. And, Carmelo he's jealous and everything like that. You can tell by his face. And he's like, you don't deserve that championship, Ilya. And he just tries to take it from him. And he accidentally hits Trick Williams, and we end it here. All three men, looking at each other, pointing the fingers like the Spider-Man meme and everything like that. And it's just like, okay, who attacked Trick Williams? Did anybody really attack Carmelo? Is Carmelo the one trying to cover his tracks with more lies on top of lies? And Ilya Dragunov is in the middle now between Carmelo and Trick. And the fact that Carmelo hit Trick is like, oh. And Trick's like, what's happened? So we're going to see what happens next week. And we're building to New Year's Evil, January 2nd, 2024. All right, y'all. That's NXT, December 12th, 2023. Vic Joseph, Booker T on commentary. A lot to unpack on this show, but some good stuff, man. I give this show a solid 4 out of 5. Some things I like, some things I didn't like, but overall, great show. My match of the night was Dragon Lee versus Tyler Bate. That was a badass match right there. Everything else was fun and everything. Lyra Valkyria and Nikita Lyons versus Cora Jade and Blair Davenport kind of got ruined with the whole Tatum Paxley thing, so I don't know what's going on there and stuff like that. Metaphor, Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen, Fallon Henley, fun match. I can't wait to see Tiffany Stratton beat Fallon Henley next week. Yeah, I said it. Tiffy time. It's Tiffy time. All right, y'all. Drop those comments below. Hit that like. Hit that subscribe. Share it with your grandma. Share it with your grandpa. Share it with the bum down at Walmart. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/New World Podcast. Get that sweet NWP logo created by Penta X. And remember that the New World Podcast is for life, brother.
Trick Curry. I'm Tricky McGrady. I'm Mike Trick. I'm 23 in LA. Never mind who you thought I was. I'm Trick James, bitch.